Hello, here I am back at you on the Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to talk about the Pixel 9 series, actually the Pixel phone and Android 16. And specifically, we're going to cover that new Material 3 OI built into these things. Let's get to it. Now, what I've done here is I've got the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and I've updated the Pixel 9 Pro Fold with the Android 16, and now it has the Material U built into it, or the Material 3, I guess, is the version on it right now. And we're going to look at the difference between the older version on Android 15 and the newer version on Android 16. So let's start with the original Android 15 and the UI on it. We're going to go ahead and review it a little bit and see what the differences are here in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is show you here. When you long press, you can go into your settings here, wallpaper, and you notice here you got your wallpaper, and you've got 3 items here that you could see that make it customizable. For example, here you can go to a smaller grid if you prefer. I like to get as much on my screen as I can, so I go with the 5x5, and then that way I could put more apps on the page that I want to, and pretty much put them where I want to. And of course, you got your wallpaper here and a bunch of different selections that you can do, as well as your own specific photos, like you see here on My Photos. And I just happen to have one of my photos of one of my favorite people. I'm going to go ahead and leave that setting up around the screen. And we'll go ahead and show you what it looks like here on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold with Android 16. You go into the settings, you click on this, and let's just choose wallpaper. And you can see here, very similar, but notice there's an additional icons. And then notice how it says layout here instead of grid. And you can do the different layouts, but it only has 2 options. You've got medium and small. I don't know if you notice or not, you can see that the background is moving a little bit. Well, that's because when I did it, you could actually choose effects, and I have cinematic effect set into my background. See how it's just cinematically moving? That's pretty neat. You can also do a weather feature where it will kind of emulate the current weather right now. So right now it's kind of sunny, but if you want to do fog, rains, raindrops, all this stuff, snowing, or sunshine, which is what we kind of have today, but it's looking at my local weather. I don't really care for that. And then shapes. This is kind of interesting. And all this does is it starts out in the shape when you open up the phone, and then it expands out to a full page here. So that's an option if that's something you like to do. But I do like the cinematic option, and you just turn it on so it downloads the 3D, and it just looks really cool. And I'll show you here how the effect works. Apply, and we'll go home, and I'll go ahead and turn it off. We'll turn it back on again and watch the slow motion, how it kind of moves in. And we'll open it up here. You can see it does a similar thing. If I turn it off, turn it back on, that kind of slowly goes in. And I know it may be difficult to see when you move it around. You can see that it's 3D, but you may not be able to see it so much on camera. But when I move it around here, I can see the horse moving from the background a little bit. It's a really nice effect. But anyway, that's my preference. Now let's move on to couple other things that are different. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the control panel. That's really changed between 15 and 16. And again, this is all pure Android on the Pixel. So when you pull it down, notice how you come down one finger, it stops there. You got your notifications here. You go again, and you got more of your control panel buttons. And you notice how there are 2 colors here. There's either dark, which means it's off, or light means it's on. So turn on the flashlight, you can see it lights up there. And that's basically it. And you can go to more by just by swiping right or left. And then if you want to edit these, you go ahead and hit the edit button, and you can move them around, prioritize them wherever you want them. And that's really it. That's it for customizing the control panel on Android 15 with the Pixels. And something I really want you to notice how in the background, when you slide this down, it just goes black. Yeah, it just goes black here. So everything's black. So that's basically it on Android 15. I'm going to leave that up there right here. And now we're going to look at the Android 16 control panel. Huge difference. First off, when you slide it down, look at the background. It did not go to black. It just kind of blurred. It stays in the background. Kind of a neat effect. Same thing though, once you get the notifications twice, now you got all the control panel buttons. And look how they're not the same size. Everything's different. Even the volume has that nice little line there. It's kind of a interesting change effect. I kind of like it. And now what's really cool is when you go to edit, see, you can take these and you can prioritize your buttons just by sliding them up, move them where you want. But you can also take and add buttons and subtract them, like right here. You just hit the minus sign. You don't have to move it. You don't have to try to pop it in. Hit the plus sign. You don't have to drag and drop. That's really cool. And then while it's highlighted, if you want, you can actually change the size. I don't know if you can go the full thing. No. You can either go full size or half size to where it's just a button. So I really like that. And let's go ahead and get me back to where I like it. So you can see there, you've got a lot of customization and a much cooler look. And if you wanted to put a whole lot more control right here on the first page, you can do so just by making them all smaller buttons. I haven't fully customized it yet to where I like it, but I'm working on it. So that's a really nice feature that is changed with Android 16. Now, check this out. Watch this. When I slide this up, did you notice the background image? It just kind of zoomed in and zoomed out like we talked about earlier. I really like that. And then on the inside, if we open it up once, one swipe, you got your notifications on the right-hand side and your buttons on the left. So you get a lot more at-a-glance control on a foldable, or at least on the Pixel Fold. Now, those are just a couple of the aesthetics with the new look of Android 16. Now, there are more changes we can go into later, but I think I'll save some of those until it's more fully baked. Because with any beta version of anything, there are somewhat glitches. Now, something I want to point out, this is a new look for Android or a new look for Pixel, but it is not a new look completely. They're just finally catching up with the times, like we said in the opener. Check this out. Like, look at the control panel on the S25 Ultra, for example. Look at that. It's blurred in the background. Notice that. There's your controls. And you can see the buttons are different sizes. And you can actually customize it, entering the customize mode. And you can move everything around just like wherever you want it. Very similar to that. Now, as far as sizing goes, it doesn't appear you can change the sizes on these things, but you can move things around a bit more and customize it a little more than you could with the older version of Android 15 on the Pixel. So yes, Google is stealing some of these features from these other phones. But as far as I'm concerned, it's about time. So now it's time for you to tell me, what do you think? Are you looking forward to the new look and the new customization that's going to come out on the new Pixels, or at least an Android 16? Have you played around the beta, and do you have some favorite features? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear from you. I'm going to keep reporting it and sharing with you the things that I find. But for now, I think the Pixel is finally headed in the right direction. If you want to see more about the upcoming Pixel 10 series, check out this video here. Until next time, God bless.